Hear ye, hear ye. So you want to live like a king? Take note from King Felipe VI. The monarch of Spain has sat on the throne since 2014, and in this time, he's proven himself to be a measured and humble leader. But how exactly does he manage all of the wealth in the kingdom? Join the richest as we journey into the king's court, peel back the curtain and discover just how the King of Spain spends his millions. And while we're here, click on the subscribe button to stay up to date with all the royal proclamations and regal declarations from our kingdom to yours, only with the richest. It's good to be king, at least for Felipe VI of Spain. The man has everything: a beautiful wife, a wonderful family, a magnificent home in Zarzuela Palace, loyal subjects, and international respect. Things haven't been so breezy in Spain following the financial crisis of 2008 and the Catalonia succession talks of the past couple years. Felipe has managed to push for reforms regarding the monarchy's finances and has given some forceful word in recent speeches in an attempt to keep Spain as united as possible. And as the man who once held the Guinness Book of World Records title for the tallest prince, and who was voted onto People magazine's 1993 list of most handsome men on earth, Felipe has a history of doing pretty good for himself. He may be the oldest man to ever ascend the Spanish throne, but people have shorter life expectancies under previous reign. He's got refined royalty in his DNA, not only from his monarch parents, but also from the fact that he's a great-great-great-grandson of Queen Victoria, with whom he shares the same coronation day. While the king has more money to spend than your average person, Felipe uses it wisely. Not only does he aim to set a good example, he also wishes to use taxpayer dollars only when necessary. When Felipe took on the responsibilities of king from his father Juan Carlos in 2014, Felipe promised to keep the people in the know for all major decisions. He also took on the example set by his father. Starting in 2012, Juan Carlos instituted a 2% cut in his own budget. After he abdicated and his son took over the throne, Felipe cut his own annual salary down to around 234,000 euros, a decrease in about a fifth of the king's earnings. That salary is also managed by the government and given to the royals incrementally each month of the year, like a kind of allowance. Even though the money is managed by outsiders, it doesn't appear to be drying up anytime soon, and they get to spend a decent amount as they see fit, especially since financial items like palace upkeep, art restoration, and the maintenance of heritage sites are all paid for by the Spanish National Heritage Organization. By contrast, as of 5 years prior to the publishing of this particular video, the Prime Minister's salary was at around 78,000 euros, and the officials reporting to him directly were receiving around 68,000 yearly. Still, the Spanish people mostly seem to have respected the king's transparency. Felipe made a conscious effort to keep spending down. According to numbers released in 2017, the royal family was bestowed over 7,775,000 euros for their budget. They managed to only spend just over 88% of that money in 2016 to keep costs down. How exactly did they save money? They went on less trips and less events, only participating in 58% of the amount of events they'd participated in the previous year. Of the money assigned to them by the government in 2016, they only spent 27,000 euros out of an available 80,000 euros on travel abroad. They spent 2.3 million euros out of 2.9 million euros budgeted for services they provide to the country. The royal family used 3.6 million euros out of an allotted 3.8 million euros on employee hiring, salaries, and benefits. Whether Felipe's changes have caused improvements or not is debatable. Advocates for the monarchy have argued that the king's affairs only cost citizens an amount equal to 23 cents per year. The king has gotten decent press for his efforts to bring costs down, which is good since the Spanish government continues to work extra hard to justify the monarchy in the 21st century. Other measures include King Felipe's declaration in December of 2014 that no member of the royal family will take any unsolicited or free gifts. Philippe's prohibition of any free gifts includes free flights, so it seems like all the funding for the king's trips come from taxes alone. While Philippe did decrease the amount of money set aside for his own salary, he bulked up the intake of funds for services that the royal family provides to its employees and the country at large to €7,700,000. These attempts to better manage the monarch's money initially came in response to the 2008 financial crisis. King Juan Carlos worked with the ruling Popular Party to bring annual spending down just under $8.7 million. While the royal family had been entangled in scandals both before and after the 2014 surprise abdication, King Felipe, Queen Letizia, and their young family have maintained popularity. They've embraced modern issues, becoming the first Spanish monarchs to meet with the LGBTQ groups, and the king himself has been known to go out of town for drinks with friends. Whether you think the money-saving measures taken by Felipe and his father are enough, they've done a decent amount to bolster popularity for the king. He's more worldly than your average person, but he's also fairly well aware of his own reputation, at least more so than his father was when he himself was king. Felipe tries to be a man of the people, and the military-trained king likes to attend art museums and sporting events. But even if he wasn't cool, calm, and collected, the only thing he can really do in his job of king is to arbitrate and moderate the law of the land. But what makes King Felipe so humble? Maybe it comes from his wife's influence. Letizia doesn't come from a lordly upbringing. Instead, she grew up in a middle-class household, worked as a journalist, and commuted in a subway. After a divorce from her first husband, she married Felipe in 2004 and had her first child in 2005, Princess Leonor, heir to the throne. While Letizia went on to become a news anchor for CNN Plus and was no stranger to the limelight, her insistence on wearing jeans and hip fashion, as well as her trips to the movies and enjoying the types of entertainment we might enjoy, makes her seem like one of the people. She seems pretty relatable, even with a reported net worth of around $10 million. This net worth obviously rose once her husband became king. By contrast, with his regular salary in consideration, Felipe's net worth is reported at $20 million. But since Letizia is popular in her own right, she and Felipe seem to complement each other very well. They may have limited their international travel as king and queen, but that didn't stop them from serving as unofficial ambassadors while Felipe was prince. Felipe obtained his education from Georgetown University and appeared at 60-plus presidential inaugurations throughout the Americas before his coronation as king. Felipe considers the relationship between Spain and Americas to be a special one, especially since much of North and South America were under Spain's rule. In 2018, Felipe and Letizia visited New Orleans for its tricentennial celebration. They then visited with President Trump and the First Lady at the White House. That same summer, Felipe's two daughters attended summer camp in the US during the month of July. This may sound like the plot of an after-school Disney movie, but it's in keeping with the king's values. Following their tour of the United States, the Spanish royals vacationed in the upscale Spanish hotspot, Mallorca. Spending their time at the Almudena Palace, the royal family has a history of summering in Palma de Mallorca, with the seaside towns, beautiful beaches, and many historical sites that have been in the family for ages. While Felipe and the other royals have kept their travel costs to a minimum, minus the necessary international trip or goodwill visit, they still continue to go to Mallorca on an annual basis. Of all the stately buildings in all the royal family's possession, they also own Zarzuela Palace. There is also La Mureta in Lanzarote, Spain, which was given to Juan Carlos by King of Jordan before Felipe enacted the no gifts rule. In Madrid, there's El Pardo Palace, which once belonged to Francisco Franco, is back in the royal family's possession, as well as the massive royal palace, considered by many to be the largest palace in all of Europe. This grand palace is only used for state functions. With all these getaways at their disposal, it seems like the royals could spend their entire existences living one big vacation, but they choose to splurge on their Mallorca trips. Felipe and company may try to live as modestly as possible. That said, certain estimates put the cost of their annual trips in Mallorca to more than $8 million. Are there any personal spending details that we might have missed? Are there some financial secrets of the rich and famous that you're looking to share yourself? Let us know in the comments section below. And while you're here, click on that subscribe button and keep watching more videos on the most famous and wealthy figures from around the globe, only on The Richest.